Okay, so here we have Wab Kinew, Premier of Manitoba, and also my new favorite Premier of Canada, after he said this.
All of them. 100% of the tariffs. No tariffs, no threat of tariffs. Then you can have the booze back.
I honestly love his no BS, straight to the point message. And as a Canadian, I want our politicians to say this kind of stuff, not like the word salad that we get from many of them. Manitoba, you have a great Premier running your province. In today's video, Wab did talk to CTV about the boycott, the tariffs, and the Buy Canadian movement. And I want to share his thoughts with everyone. But speaking of the Buy Canadian movement, it's still going strong, especially in Halifax. So today we're going to hear from some of your fellow Canadians and the grocery store, I think it's called Local Source Market, and get their thoughts and opinions on the Buy Canadian movement. Now, I know some of the haters and the people out there that say the Buy Canadian movement is dying. They're going to say, like, what's the point of you showing this GTL? Well, I'm showing it for multiple reasons. One is to make sure that the Canadians watching this video right now know that their fellow citizens are still boycotting. Two, I also want to make sure that the international viewers know that Canada is still standing strong. And three, I'm doing it for myself because it helps me to keep connected to home. So let's get started with this video, and I'll show the interview with Wab Kinew first.
Good morning. A new billboard and advertising campaign from North Dakota Tourism is trying to lure Manitobans back across the border. Many Canadians have decided to stay home as an elbows up type of stance against the U.S.
Sorry to interrupt so early, but I'm actually genuinely curious what everyone thinks about this billboard that North Dakota put up in Manitoba. I did a video on this yesterday, but it hasn't been published yet, so I can't see what everyone's feedback is on it. But something really bothers me about this. And I think what it is that it's coming from North Dakota, a red state. And I think they voted 66% for the Orange Taco Tuesday whoopee cushion guy. That in itself is like, screw off. You guys voted for this, so don't beg us to come back. But what bothers me more, I think, is the way that CTV framed it. They basically said that because of this billboard, it might be part of the reason why the numbers have been going up the last 2 months. I mean, I think that's a load of shit if you ask me. I mean, you look at this billboard, is that really going to make you decide to go back to North Dakota? But if you haven't seen my previous video on this yet, take a look at the channel. Actually, no, I'll put a link to the description. No, I'll put a link to the video in the description below.
After President Donald Trump threatened annexation and placed tariffs on many Canadian goods. Joining us now with reaction to this is Premier Wab Kinew. Good morning, Mr. Premier.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back.
Now, when these tariff threats, annexation threats first began, you were very vocal about the whole elbows up movement, encouraging Manitobans to spend their tourism dollars here, stay here in this province. What are your thoughts on this advertising campaign?
Well, I think this is a sign that it works when we use our financial choices to express our opinions, right? So not only has the decision of Canadians to spend more tourism dollars at home or here in Manitoba made a difference, we also know that the U.S. booze ban has really affected the Americans.
Now, I think the booze ban has been one of the biggest things, aside from tourism, that has affected the U.S. And it's one of my favorites, to be honest. Because most of the bourbon producers, they did vote for Taco Tuesday. And this guy here, who has gone on record saying that he supports Taco Tuesday and the administration, continues to whine to us that we're decimating his industry. And it kind of reminds me of this meme right here. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, maybe not if you're just like listening or visually impaired. Let me just describe it. It's a guy on a bike and basically puts a stick in his own tire spokes and falls and then basically blames Canada, which is basically what the bourbon industry have done. I mean, they voted for Taco Tuesday and they caused their own decimation and they're blaming it on Canada. So I'm very happy that their alcohol has not been on our shelves for over a year, except for Alberta and Saskatchewan.
We hear about it consistently. This is something that is a major pressure point that we have. And because we have this whole ongoing situation with the Trump administration's approach to trade, I think it makes sense for us to continue using these tools that we have to create leverage and to support this great country of Canada. So again, going back to the beginning, I always said, if the kids have a baseball tournament or a hockey tournament in North Dakota or Minnesota, I don't want anyone to miss out on anything. Mm-hmm. But in those maybe longer term plans that you have, if you have a choice between spending money in a country that is trying to, or whose administration, I should be clear, Americans are very cool with us, like on the individual level, it's the Trump administration's approach to trade that we have an issue with.
Okay, this is the only part I disagree with Wab on. Not all U.S. citizens are cool with Canada. And quite frankly, there's a large share of the population that actually repeats the rhetoric. I've received my fair share of emails from the Taco Tuesday supporters with lots of spelling mistakes that tell me that my country has no right to exist. So unfortunately, Wab, I gotta disagree with you on this one, because I do have a problem with some of the citizens that do support the Taco Tuesday regime. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me on this.
We should just be spending those dollars in Canada and sending a message that our economy helps your economy, and if we get back to a more positive relationship, we're all going to benefit.
So we've proved our point in a very positive way.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of trade, CUSMA, the deadline is coming up on July the 1st, and we know that there's been back and forth, and then there's been some discussions and some no discussions at all. Where are we at with that at this point?
Yeah, so July 1 is a big date because this is the day where this relationship automatically goes into a review. So you're going to hear all these, different terms of review, renegotiation, and things like that. But basically, it means we're kind of at a turning point. And so you might remember that Donald Trump started saying some things about CUSMA a week or so ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we should expect a lot more of that. I think he's going to say the type of things to stir the pot and try to get Canadians worked up and things like that. But you got to remember there's this July 1 deadline coming up. So a lot of this is just, I think, positioning.
And this is something I'm not afraid to admit that I need practice on. I need to stop reacting to every single little thing that Taco Tuesday says. And his minions as well, like this guy. And then this guy here. I mean, I'm still going to call them out on their BS. But I just got to make sure that I don't react to it, too much.
In the meantime, though, there have been delegations traveling to other parts of the world trying to make other trade deals. Like, for example, there's a team of delegates that just went to Japan to make some new deals, and some from Manitoba.
Yeah.
What's the latest on that, and what is the hope there?
Well, the hope is just to do more business around the world. America is a great market. It's a huge market. But Japan, India, really all of Asia is just full of opportunity, especially when you look at our agricultural products like pork and like canola.
Now, one thing I always think about ever since turmoil started, if our next door neighbor didn't turn into a meth lab, would we be expanding our partnerships around the world? My opinion, probably not. Because I think we've been too cushy way too long with the United States. I'm glad we have delegations going to other countries trying to make partnerships. And I'm also really glad that Canada has partnered with Australia for the new advanced radar system. But this is definitely a wake-up call for all Canadian citizens and even our government, and hell, to the rest of the world as well, that we cannot trust the used car salesman living in the meth lab.
So right now, our ag minister, Ron Kostitian, is over there along with his staff. We also have folks from the ag industry, Manitoba Pork in particular, who are on their way to not just Japan, but I think some other countries in the region, just to do that marketing job of saying Manitoba's open for business, we have high quality agricultural products, and we're looking to export more. So it's a time for us to sing for our supper a little bit and make new relationships that are going to help us export to new countries. At the same time, the U.S. is always going to be our neighbor. We always want to have a good relationship there. And so the American ambassador, Pete Hoekstra, is going to be in town, and we'll be meeting with him on Friday of this week. And that'll be an opportunity for us to kind of evaluate where things are at on the CUSMA front.
Yeah, I don't think that meeting's going to go very well. I'm just going by Pete Hoekstra's track record.
And maybe look for some good opportunities to work together.
Okay, now we're almost out of time already. Today is National Strawberry Parfait Day. For our question of the day, we wanted to know, what's your favorite summertime treat? Do you have one to share with us?
Okay, well, it's maybe a little cheesy, but I love sunsets in the summertime. So my treat would be if I'm with my wife, Lisa, during magic hour, near a lake, hopefully. Life is pretty good.
It's cheesy, but it's sweet. It works. Thank you, Mr. Premier, for joining us today.
All right.
I have a similar one to Wab's summer treat, except mine would be in English Bay during the evenings. You really start to appreciate things when you don't have access to it right away. But back to Wab's interview. I agree with him that we need to start expanding our horizons, our partnerships, and who we actually value. But most importantly, who actually values us. Because right now, it's obviously not our next door neighbor. And at this current moment, any trade agreement that we have with the United States, it's all up in the air. Even ones that we thought might be safe. You never know what Diaper Don's going to do the next day. Now I want to move on to the next report out of Nova Scotia, and it talks to our fellow Canadian citizens and a grocery store when it comes to the Buy Canadian movement. And fair warning, you're going to hear his voice, but I got chipmunk mode enabled.
I would love to see Canada be the 51st state.
Customer Dale Darling is on the hunt to buy local. When she first heard Trump's comments, she had a visceral reaction.
I don't understand why anyone would think that any nation would react well to basically talk of colonization. So, it is hard to look in a neutral way at what's going on outside our borders, and I simply had such a negative reaction to it. I wasn't prepared to support their economy.
I wholeheartedly agree with Dale, and I think every Canadian and international viewer that supports my channel can agree with her statements as well. I mean, you can look at it this way. It's like having a friend that looks down on you, but you've done everything you can to support this friend. And then one day he says, I'm going to steal your house because I don't think you deserve a house. And then when you start to fight back and say no, they say, why are you so mad? So like Dale, I'm not going to be supporting their economy anymore. Where I used to support them the most is cross-border shopping. Well, that's really hard for me to do right now since I'm halfway around the world. But Blaine and Bellingham are no longer going to get my money. And it's the same for many Canadians across Canada. And for Dale, well done for standing your ground.
She stopped buying American products and says many of her friends have done the same. Several Nova Scotia retailers say they continue to see a lot of interest in buying local. At Westside Beer, Wine, Spirits in Clayton Park, while bourbon is popular, there's less demand for other American products.
And so for the most part, Canadians, I think we have really spoken with their wallets, saying that they still want to support Canadian and local, and that the U.S. products are not things that they are super keen on buying in great demand.
And at the NSLC, sales of Nova Scotian alcohol products increased more than 11% in the most recent fiscal year.
I'm really glad to hear this, and I think that since more than a year has gone by, our habits of what we used to buy, which was American alcohol, has now changed. And one of our viewers named James actually sent me an email of the new alcohol that he's buying now. And because he's no longer buying US-made alcohol, he has now switched to whiskey that is now made in British Columbia and Ontario. What you are looking at on the screen are a couple bottles from Beaver's Dram, one from Larkin Highland, and another from Okanagan Spirits. Now, I'm not a huge whiskey drinker. I mean, I'll have a glass here and there. But one of our fellow GTL community viewers does recommend these bottles. So take a look at your local liquor store to see if they sell these bottles.
This happened at the same time that overall alcohol sales fell. In a statement, NSLC spokesperson Tara McKinnon said that most of the remaining U.S. inventory is wine and spirits, and, quote, given the volume of U.S. wine on hand, it will take some time to sell through it.
Now, for some of the international viewers who might not fully know the liquor situation in Canada, some of our provinces have put the U.S. liquor back on the shelves. If we talk about Alberta and Saskatchewan, they put the liquor back up permanently. So yeah, boo to the leaders of Alberta and Saskatchewan. But other provinces have also put the liquor back on the shelves, not because they want the sales and they're going to continue selling it. It's because the liquor was in storage, and some of it is expiring. So what they did is they put it back on the shelves to allow customers to buy it again, and all proceeds from the sale will go to charity. But no future purchases from the United States will be made again. But the fact that this reporter said that the US wine is going to take a while to sell, that tells me that there's no interest in it, even if it's on the shelf.
At a local source market in Halifax, Trump talk drove new customers to the store, and they continue to shop there. Founder Sean Gallagher believes the interest in buying local took root at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We can just support each other, and small economic decisions kind of make a difference. And that's what was kind of laid bare during the pandemic. So then when Trump came around second term and is trying to annex us and give us grief, we're like, that's okay, we can do other things.
He says people are able to express their Canadian pride by buying local, and they're enjoying doing it. Richard Woodbury, CBC News, Halifax.
Now, one key thing that this reporter just said, Canadians enjoy doing it, meaning they enjoy buying Canadian products. I mean, it's definitely easier to do something if you enjoy it. For me, when I was back in Canada, I enjoyed putting US products back on the shelf. I look at the label, I see it's made in the US, I put it back. I don't need it that badly. But now is the time for us to definitely support local businesses and local products. So for anybody in Nova Scotia who may not have been to Local Source Market before, and you want to check it out, they are located at 2790 Windsor Street in Halifax. And if anyone does stop by, just let them know that you saw them on the Guard the Leaf YouTube channel. So when it comes to the Buy Canadian, is it still going strong? In my opinion, it depends on who you ask. But I think there is a good majority of us that are still strong when it comes to avoiding US products. And then whenever I see a report saying elbows are down, or people on social media are saying good luck with the boycott, it's over, I have to remind myself and say, nope, there's still a lot of us around the world that are going to continue to hold the line. To close off this video, I would like to thank Mr. Mystics from our Discord server for posting this photo of Bow River and Castle Mountain in Alberta. I believe this is in the Banff National Park area. I haven't been there yet myself, and I'm a really shitty tour guide. But I do want to thank you again, Mr. Mystics, for posting this in the Discord server and sharing it with the community. Alright everyone, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if your Buy Canadian movement is still going strong. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one. Oh my god, you seriously decided to show up at the end of the video? Seriously?